I'm your worship associate. I'm a member of this congregation, a retired Reverend Jacqueline Buck. And it is a joy to be with you today. Unitarian Universalism is a religion of binding oneself to others with respect and sensitivity toward the unity of all life. Ours is a religion that calls us deeper and deeper into a meaningful relationship, a religion that asks something of us. Unitarian Universalists are religious people, whether we identify our practice or spirituality as earth-centered, theist, agnostic, humanist, Jewish, Buddhist, Hindu, Taoist, Christian, or Muslim. We gather and worship to give word to what is of ultimate value in our lives and to honor what is asked of us as a people of faith, to support one another in spiritual growth and to create the work of justice as we strive to build the loved community on earth. Welcome. We have a few announcements. I hope you've checked your Community Matters email for in-depth listing of them. I know that I want to mention to you that we have a food bank. It's in the office. The door's propped open right now. It's for anyone that would like to have something to just make life a little better this week. If you're a visitor or whatever, you're welcome. In the office behind the room dividers. Alan has a message, an announcement he'd like to make.
Morning. I wanted to remind everybody that our first meeting of the writers group is going to meet here this coming Saturday at 10 o'clock in the morning. If you have shown some interest in it or would like to participate and you don't have a book yet, I have a book for you. Just come see me at coffee hour. And anybody online that needs a book, let me know. Get in touch with me some kind of way, maybe through Charlotte. And I can deliver a book to you, or you can just wait till next Saturday to get your book. But we'll be meeting every other Saturday, from 10 till 12 here. And you might want to be here a little bit early because there's a great big AA meeting here also at that time. And they take up a lot of the parking spaces. But most of us could probably use the exercise getting over here.
We'll be here.
And Jacqueline and I are running the thing sequentially here. If you have any questions or want to find out more about it, please get in touch with her or me.
Also, I noticed when I was reading Community Matters, there's a meeting here, besides the AA meeting on Saturday, that you might be very interested in. I can't remember what it was about, but I thought it was interesting and put it on my calendar. So look at Community Matters and get that for yourselves. So we welcome to our pulpit this morning Abel Thompson. Abel is from Baton Rouge. He grew up in the Unitarian Church of Baton Rouge. Over the last 2 years, he's been working in New Orleans as an organizer with Together NOLA, where he has worked closely with our sister church, CCUU New Orleans. They've been working around the strategy to deepen their relationships and commitments to one another. He has recently moved back to home to organize with Together Baton Rouge on Sunday, so he'll be here today on Sunday, January the 21st, and we welcome him to our pulpit. Thank you. If you would turn to the back of your order of service, we have our land acknowledgement. You could read it with me if you would. We acknowledge and pay tribute to the original inhabitants of this land. The city of New Orleans is a continuation of an indigenous trade route on the Mississippi River, known for thousands of years as the Tribes that have lived on this land In this house, we bring our hunger for awakening. We bring compassionate hearts and a will toward justice. In this home, we bring the courage to walk on after hard losses. Into this house, we bring our joy and gratitude for ordinary blessings. By our gathering, we bless this house. In its shelter, we know ourselves blessed. Welcome to worship. In that vein, we are going to light the chalice by repeating, singing the song to words or in the order of service. That the greeters have for somebody. Thank you, Julie. You may come up to the microphone. If possible, put them on the card. We went way over time last week. It's just hard to be brief behind the microphone. But some things are heartfelt and need to be shared directly. As we receive the cards, we can write on, we will sing, "We Shall Not Be Moved."
Y'all can pick this one up pretty easy. You'll figure it out.
Laura Miller writes, please light a candle in honor of our beloved Avis, who passed away a year ago tomorrow. Are you going to light candles? No? Do not. Yes, it is.
I'm learning.
We're all learning, actually. Thank you, Kathleen. Thank you so much. Jim and Vera have a joy that New Orleans again celebrates Mardi Gras season. It's our best time. Sorrow that Michelle Firestone has COVID. We hold her in our hearts. Emma writes, glad to be back after having COVID. And Abigail, I am joyful about the fact that I probably failed the entrance exam to the school I don't want. Oh, I am dreading that I have to go back to school with those infidels. Oh boy. Have fun. At this time, we also, thank you so much. We light a candle for those joys that have remained within our hearts. Marianne, I'm sorry. Do you want to come forward? Yes.
I have two joys. One is that our friend Reuben, some of you may remember Reuben, who was a member of this church, originally from Russia. This week he got his American citizenship.
Yeah.
And he's ecstatic. And the other joy is that today Al and I will have been married for 33 years.
How many years?
33.
Hi everybody. This isn't going to be brief, so I'm going to be on Jacqueline's bad list. Sorry about that. It's kind of it's a joy. It's a funny personal anecdote, really. It'll take some explanation. Fast forward back to year 2015. Some of you know I used to be a philosophy professor. Well, at the end of my career as a professor, I made a last-ditch effort to improve my credentials to try to get a permanent job, which I did not succeed at. So I worked at getting a book contract and started working on this book. And lo and behold, I kept on working on it until it was done, even though I wasn't a professor anymore, and it turned into this. Now, this isn't the joy. This is kind of just whatever. Anyway, this book that came out in 2017 called Phenomenology of Film. The joy is just this month, an academic journal ran a special issue dedicated to my book with 7 critical articles and a response piece. So to put it in context, really by the standards of academic books, this is actually on the verge of becoming old, if you can believe that. And secondly, what else was I going to say? I'm really like a nobody. Usually, if you have a work written about your work, like you're somebody important in your name. So it's just kind of cool. I wanted to share it in particular with folks maybe who I can help to encourage. I've been, going through a rough patch the last couple of years, and sometimes when you're having a rough time or going through a prolonged rough patch, it's important to keep your head up and just remember that good things will come along if you're patient. You don't know when exactly, but We just have to wait. So it's kind of one of those things that I wanted to throw out just as a kind of encouragement for people. So thanks.
I don't think you could be on my bad list. So now we'll light one for those joys that have not been said. Push it forward, I would say that. There. So we have two of those lighters, and both of them work differently. And we light one for those sorrows that have remained private in your hearts. Community Church Unitarian Universalist is a self-sustaining congregation. Members and friends' generosity help us to do the sacred work of bringing justice, spirituality, and compassion to our community and beyond these walls. You can give online, CCUUNOLA.org/stewardship, or text 504-370-2659, text GIVE. And lucky you can give this morning in person. So at this time we'll sing We Are a Gentle, Angry People, and pass the offering plate.
In 1 second.
Thank you.
We
was written after Harvey Milk was assassinated. Harvey Milk wrote it for his service, celebration of life. So at this time, we are very happy to welcome Abel Thompson for our pulpit. He's got a reading, and then we'll sing another song and hear his message.
Good morning. Good morning. The readings I'm going to share today come from the book Fire Next Time by James Baldwin. This selection is from a piece called My Dungeon Shook, a letter to my nephew on the 100th anniversary of emancipation. I know what the world has done to my brother and how narrowly he has survived it. And I know, which is much worse, and this is the crime of which I accuse my country and my countrymen, and of which neither I, nor time, nor history will ever forgive. That they have destroyed and are destroying hundreds of thousands of lives and do not know it, and do not want to know it. One can be, indeed, one must strive to become tough and philosophical concerning destruction and death. For this is what most of mankind has been best at since we have heard of man. But remember, most of mankind is not all of mankind. But it is not permissible that the authors of devastation should also be innocent. It is this innocence which constitutes the crime. Now, my dear namesake, these innocent and well-meaning people, your countrymen, have caused you to be born under conditions not far removed from those described for us by Charles Dickens in the London of more than 100 years ago. I hear the chorus of the innocent screaming, "No, this is not true. How bitter you are." But I am writing this letter to you to try to tell you something about how to handle them. For most of them do not yet really know that you exist. I know the conditions under which you were born, for I was there. Your countrymen were not there and haven't made it yet. Your grandmother was also there, and no one has ever accused her of being bitter. I suggest that the innocents check with her. She isn't hard to find. Your countrymen don't know that she exists either, though she has been working for them all their lives. Well, you were born, here you came, something like 15 years ago. And though your father and mother and grandmother, looking about the streets through which they were carrying you, staring at the walls into which they brought you, had every reason to be heavy-hearted, yet they were not. For here you were, Big James, named for me. You were a big baby, I was not. Here you were, to be loved, baby, hard, at once and forever, to strengthen you against the loveless world. Remember that. I know how black it looks today for you. It looked bad that day too. Yes, we were trembling. Yes, we were trembling. We have not stopped trembling yet. But if we had not loved each other, none of us would have survived. And now you must survive because we love you. And for the sake of your children and your children's children.
Let's sing hymn number 147, on all the peoples on this earth.
Please try to be clear there, James. Through the storm which rages about your youthful head today, about the reality which lies behind the words acceptance and integration. There is no reason for you to try to become like white people. There is no basis whatever for their impertinent assumption that they must accept you. The really terrible thing, old buddy, is that you must accept them. And I mean that very seriously. You must accept them and accept them with love. For these innocent people have no other hope. They are, in effect, still trapped in a history which they do not understand. And until they understand it, they cannot be released from it. They have had to believe for many years, and for innumerable reasons, that black men are inferior to white men. Many of them indeed know better, but as you will discover, people find it very difficult to act on what they know. To act is to be committed, and to be committed is to be in danger. In this case, the danger in their minds, and in the minds of most white Americans, is the loss of their identity. Try to imagine how you would feel if you woke up one morning to find the sun shining and all the stars aflame. You would be frightened because it is out of the order of nature. Any upheaval in the universe is terrifying because it so profoundly attacks one's senses of one's own reality. Well, the black man has functioned in the white man's world as a fixed star, as an immovable pillar. And as he moves out of this place, heaven and earth are shaken to their foundations. You don't be afraid. I said that it was intended that you should perish in the ghetto, perish by never being allowed to go beyond the white man's definitions, by never being allowed to spell your proper name. You, and many of us have, defeated this intention. And by a terrible law, a terrible paradox, those innocents who believe that your imprisonment made them safe are losing their grasp on reality. But these men are your brothers, your lost younger brothers. And if the word integration means anything, this is what it means. That we, with love, shall force our brothers to see themselves as they are, to cease fleeing from reality and begin to change it. For this is your home, my friend. Do not be driven from it. Great men have done great things here and will again. And we will make America what America must become. It will be hard, James, but you come from sturdy peasant stock. Men who picked cotton and dammed rivers and built railroads, and in the teeth of the most terrifying odds, achieved an unassailable and monumental dignity. You come from a long line of great poets, some of the greatest since Homer. One of them one time said, "The very time I thought I was lost, my dungeon shook and my chains fell off." You know, and I know, that the country is celebrating 100 years of freedom, 100 years too soon. We cannot be free until they are free. God bless you, James, and Godspeed. Your Uncle James. I remember when I was first made aware of the fact that I was black. I don't remember the specifics, but I do remember a few things. I remember that I was in kindergarten, around 5 years old. I remember that it was white kids at an all-white school who brought that fact to my attention. And most of all, I remember how I felt. I felt lonely, isolated, other than, less than, but most of all, I felt confused. I remember all of a sudden being keenly aware of race. It was all around me. It was like something that had never entered into my consciousness before was now monopolizing and shaping my awareness of the world around me. I would look at my family and think, my mama doesn't look black and looks nothing like her mama and daddy, who are obviously black. My Lulu looks white If you're from Louisiana, you know how that goes. My Lulu looks white, same as my Uncle Doopy, and my Aunt Inez, and grandmother. Are they white? And if they're white, why can't I be white? And if they're black, which they are, what makes people white? And what makes people black? It wasn't until I was a little older that I understood that the conflict I found myself in wasn't only one of a 5-year-old kid, but it was a conflict that I shared and am sharing with a 250-year-old nation as well. I harken back to W.B. Du Bois's opening sentence in his book, The Souls of Black Folk. The problem of the 20th century is the problem of the color line. That's still true today in the 21st century. The problem is still the color line, and the gender line, and the sexual orientation line, and the southern border line, and the religious line, and the political party line, and the social economic line that leaves too many folks of all races in the unemployment line, lining Claiborne Avenue, and Canal Boulevard, and Florida Boulevard in Baton Rouge without a place to sleep, while the same folks who have benefited from us being on either side of these lines continue lining their pockets with perpetual wealth. We must erase these lines. To save our society, we must fight to erase these lines and change the status quo by which our society is governed. And I'm sorry to tell y'all, but that change is not going to come by reading Isabella Wilkerson or Ibram Kendi or the 1619 Project. It's not going to happen by convincing your conservative family members of the error of their ways or by doing service projects to help those less fortunate than ourselves. I mean, those are cool and necessary, right? But these things in and of themselves will not shift the power dynamics in this country one bit. This shift will only happen when those of us who are comfortable in our privilege start feeling less comfortable. That shift will only happen when we look at the pressures in our own lives and the lives of our families and cross those lines that divide us and share those stories with folks who we may not agree with on all social issues, but have the same pressures facing their families and are as angry and as uncomfortable as we are and angry and uncomfortable enough to do something about it. When we are able to meet what Howard Thurman calls the folks with their backs against the wall and stand with them, not out of guilt or shame or altruism, but because we know that our fates are inextricably linked. That shift will only happen if we continue to radically knock down barriers, ever widening our circle, not only to be an accepting space, but to be a space where we are building the power we need in order to hold those in power accountable to us. It is more imperative now than ever that we build this kind of community.
Amen.
Like Reverend Jackie shared, I'm a child of the Unitarian Church. My parents joined the Unitarian Church of Baton Rouge 35 years ago. And it wasn't because they were necessarily searching for a church home. In fact, they were pretty happily unchurched at the time. But they joined because they found in UCBR an institution whose spirituality was not based on the hereafter, but on the here and now. A faith that is not so much concerned with where our souls are going when we die, but how we act in the world in which we live. Our faith isn't dictated by a fixed creed, but guided by principles that give us enough space to be curious and adapt to the demands that our inner and outer world makes on us. We enjoy an immense amount of religious freedom, but with that freedom comes responsibility. We have a responsibility to continue challenging ourselves and our faith leaders to always push the boundaries at comfort's edge and stay creative and vigilant and continue to raise our standards towards the world we want to live in while having our feet firmly planted in the world that we must contend with. This is the spiritual work before us. And I'm going to wrap up with a reflection on the seventh principle given by a UU minister, Reverend Forrest Gilmore. Reverend Gilmore writes, "Our seventh principle, respect for the interdependent web of all existence, is a glorious statement. Yet we make a profound mistake when we limit it to merely an environmental ideal. It is so much more. It is our response to the great dangers of both individualism and oppression. It is our solution to the seeming conflict between the individual and the group. Our seventh principle may be our Unitarian Universalist way of coming to fully embrace something greater than ourselves. The interdependent web, expressed as the spirit of life, the grounding of all being, the oneness of all existence, the community forming power, the process of life, the creative force, even God. It can help us develop that social understanding of ourselves that we and our culture so desperately need. It is a source of meaning to which we can dedicate our lives. And with that, I say salam, shalom. I say amen. Peace, y'all.
May we go forward this morning in purposeful rhythm, that we may give voice to the melody of our imaginations, the music of our souls, and all the possibilities of a just world, as we might together create it. Go in peace, go in love, my friends. Let us sing our closing hymn, number 116, I'm on my way. What's that? I forgot the chalice. Thank you. So please read with me the chalice extinguishing way. We extinguish this chalice.
May it light your path as you leave this place. May it guide your way until we will together again.
Now let us sing 116. I'm on my way. I don't know how you can sing this song and not stand. Is it possible? It's a big suggestion.